Ddigesau. Croeso I Seremoni Graddio dosbarth 2021 Prifysgol Caerdydd. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's graduation ceremony for Cardiff University Class of 2021. Eisteddwch os gwelwch yn dda. Bydd y seremoni yn dechrau mewn 10 munud. Please be seated. The ceremony will begin in 10 minutes. Rydyn ni nawr yn croesawu ein gwylwyr o bob cor o'r byd I Stadiwm y Principality drwy gyfrwng ffrwd fyw YouTube, fel y gallant ymuno â ni ar gyfer y ceremony. We now welcome our live stream viewers across the world to Principality Stadium in Cardiff for today's ceremony. Gwybodaeth, bydd y ceremony yn cynnwys effeithiau pyrotechnig. For information, please be aware the ceremony will include pyrotechnic effects. Rhannwch eich negeseuon o longyfarch a thagiwch eich lluniau gan ddefnyddio hashnod Graf Caerdydd. Share your messages of congratulations and tag your posts with hashtag CardiffGrad.
I came to Cardiff from a little town in West Wales. It was a big transition for me. I saw Cardiff as the big city, but the community itself, I've got to say, felt very warm, it felt very intimate, and the student community was incredibly friendly. And I think that's one of the things that has not changed. Student life in Cardiff then and now was great fun.
Cardiff University, this is where I came to do my undergraduate degree. This is where I grew up. I love the city. I love so many things about it. I enjoyed studying here, for my medical degree, but I also participated in university life really widely. I wrote for Gyfer, I designed the logo for it. I was in the horse riding club. We used to go galloping over Caerphilly Mountain, and I saw so many amazing bands when I was here, from Radiohead when they just released their first album, all the way to when they were playing in the arena. And I loved my university life, and I remember it very, very fondly.
So my experience at Cardiff and the postgraduate degree that I got here, you know, meant everything at the start of my career. You know, it helped me get my first job in newspapers, it helped me get a job at the BBC, and it helped me get a job at ABC News too. You know, and I think it's a guarantee of quality and integrity, and you can't ask for more than that in today's journalistic environment.
I'm a very passionate Welshman. I suppose I grew up in the city. My parents moved, my brother and I, there when I was about one year old. Medicine was the obvious choice, really. And so when you look around the country and look at the best medical schools, Cardiff was certainly up there. I loved the city. As I said, I grew up there, and yeah, it was you know, a great university. I had some great times there, and hugely thankful actually to the university for allowing me to combine my rugby career with academia.
Well, I actually grew up, grew up in Cardiff. I came here by complete chance, and it took me a really long time to go somewhere else home, so I really wanted to stay here, and I was really lucky that Cardiff University ranks as, you know, one of the top universities in engineering. So, and just everyone was really understanding. I don't have a family in the UK, so my personal tutor is kind of my family. Shout out to Dr. Richard Perks. Yeah, I think it's, you know, the time where I became the person that I am today.
When I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Cricket wasn't a sort of career path for me then. Women's cricket was only kind of semi-professional, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I think that's pretty common. I think a lot of graduates will be a bit unsure what path they want to go down, but know that they've had a great sort of base coming to Cardiff. They will have developed so many skills and met so many people that they'll use later in life without even knowing it, I guess. And yeah, just embrace the challenges to come and choose something that you're going to enjoy and is going to put a smile on your face.
Stand-up memories? That's a good question. There are many. Probably that finals week was the week we played England in 2013 and beat them in Cardiff. You know, England came for the Grand Slam in Cardiff and we blew them off the park. I sat my finals that week. Sat in the All Nations Centre at 9 a.m. on the Thursday, you know, the week we were playing England in the final game of the Six Nations. Sat there, obviously getting at 9 o'clock. I was out there by 10:30, 11. I drove straight to the Vale where we trained, straight to the side of the pitch, got out my car, put my Welsh kit on, boots on, and started the training session.
Well, I think, you know, this is an amazing time for all of you who are graduating right now. The world is changing very, very fast. And the world needs every great idea that you have, and it's a big, exciting world out there. And I know you're all going to have an amazing time. So congratulations to everyone graduating this year.
What an amazing, amazing time to be graduating, but knowing what is on the cusp of technological development. Almost everywhere now are extraordinary breakthroughs. We are seeing obviously artificial intelligence and its promise, 3D technology, cloud computing, all these things are coming through. And so the real challenge for them is to take the culture and the value system in the society in which they have lived and go and reflect it out there.
I was back here in 1994 receiving my first degree. And that was a degree in anatomy, which I'm very pleased to say I got a first in, which is good. I went on to become an anatomist. But I then carried on studying medicine, so I then graduated for a second time in 1997. And both occasions were amazing days. I had friends and family all around me, and it's such a joyful occasion.
What I say is, be true to yourselves. Be ambitious, believe in your own skills. Don't over-promote yourself, because that's never a good thing, but be confident in what you want to do. And always, always carry with you the good values of being kind to people, being honest to people, and having integrity, and you won't go far wrong.
Foneddigion a boneddigesau, eisteddwch os gwelwch yn dda. Bydd y seremoni yn dechrau'n fuan. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The ceremony will begin soon.
Okay.
Please stand for the academic procession. Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Noswaith dda. Welcome to the Principality Stadium and Cardiff University's graduation ceremony for the class of 2021. I'm Miguela Gonzalez. I'm a proud Cardiff University alumna, and I'll be your host for this very special celebration. But of course, we are here today to mark your incredible achievements, so I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to get the proceedings underway, and I'd like to welcome to the stage Cardiff University's Chancellor, Baroness Jenny Randerson.
Noswaith dda, a Croeso i Gyhoeddir. Good evening, welcome to Cardiff and to our class of 2021 graduation ceremony. You've got the message. It's a real privilege to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion with you. And may I offer a warm welcome to family, friends and supporters, to our honorary fellows, and of course to you, the class of 2021. I'm delighted that you've been able to join us for this special graduation ceremony here at the Principality Stadium. This extraordinary venue is befitting of your extraordinary achievements. And what better place to celebrate than the crown jewel of the city of Cardiff? The fame of this venue spreads far beyond the world of rugby. But with a rugby match, there's a loser as well as a winner. And that's the key difference with today, because you are all winners here. This evening, you are all celebrating success. And of course, this is just the end of what has been a long day of celebrations for you and your guests. I trust that you've all had a wonderful day and that you've had the opportunity to see old friends and staff members from each of your schools and to reminisce on your time spent here in Cardiff. The day has no doubt passed by extremely quickly, but I hope that you've taken a moment to soak it all up and to really appreciate what you have achieved. Acquiring a university education is no mean feat, so I commend you not only for securing a place at Cardiff University in the first instance, but also for the dedication and commitment that you've demonstrated to get you to where you are today. Over the last 2 years, we've faced challenges on a level not seen since the Second World War. Throughout this difficult period, you, our students, have been quite wonderful. You've shown patience and understanding, as well as a willingness, determination, and tenacity to tackle whatever has been put in front of you. For this, you should be extremely proud, because everybody at Cardiff University is certainly proud of you. We hope, yes, you deserve it. Give yourselves a clap. We hope that this evening's ceremony instills that feeling of pride in you, and that you leave here knowing that you're now part of a very special family, the Cardiff University alumni community. Cardiff University will always be your university. And so wherever life takes you, we hope that you become a flag bearer for this great institution and carry forward our values of kindness and generosity of spirit. We ask that you stay in touch, come and visit us often, and share your experience of Cardiff University with the wider world. Finally, if you've been to a match here or watched on TV, you will know about the noise. We have a strong Welsh tradition of noisy support for the players. Today, you are our players. So it's clear that I don't need to say to your supporters not to let you down and to show their support for you as loud as possible. They've got that message. For now, I ask that you sit back, enjoy the ceremony, and savour this moment. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Baroness Randerson, for your wonderful words. It's so clear, isn't it? We are all part of the Cardiff University team. Now, I'd like to introduce Cardiff University's President and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Colin Reardon.
Noswaith dda a chroeso. Colin Reardon dwi, clywydd ac is-Chancellor Prifysgol Cardiff. Mae'n bleser mawr bod yma gyda chi heno. Well, good evening and welcome, everybody. My name's Colin Reardon. I'm the President and Vice-Chancellor of Cardiff University, and it really is an absolute pleasure to be here in person with you and to see all the great celebrations that have been taking place throughout the day. So graduation is always a superb occasion and the highlight of the university calendar. The ceremony that we celebrate today is important because it marks a turning point. It's a chance for us to recognise all the hard work you've put in while studying for your degree and to thank those who've helped you throughout your time here. But just as importantly, it's a chance to look ahead to the future and to mark a new chapter in your lives. This year's graduation is extra special for us as we celebrate with 3 years' worth of students. We know how challenging it must have been for you, the class of 2021, to have your time here at Cardiff so altered by the pandemic. But in the face of an adversity none of us could have imagined, you have excelled. That's why we're grateful for the patience and understanding you've shown as we've worked to deliver an in-person graduation for you with all the pomp and circumstance that you'd come to expect. You've shown the willingness, determination, and spiritedness that are the real hallmarks of a Cardiff University graduate. Our coat of arms, it's here behind me, bears the slogan Gwirionedd, Undod a Chydgord, which in English is truth, unity, and concord. These values have never been more relevant than in the last 2.5 years. We've had to be frank and open with one another when faced with real risks to individuals and the community. And we've had to work together and support each other, even if we haven't always been able to agree on the measures which were deemed necessary. Thank you for demonstrating those values during your time with us. 2021 may seem like a long time ago now, but it was a year in which Cardiff University continued to support global efforts in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Our Phoenix project helped to deliver over £7 million worth of vital PPE equipment to Namibia to help tackle a devastating third surge of COVID-19 in the country. And I heard from the Vice-Chancellor of our partner, the University of Namibia earlier, Kenneth Matengu, who will receive an award from us here tonight, earlier this evening, that that has saved many lives in that year. Despite all the problems they faced, our world-leading researchers continued to make groundbreaking discoveries, both in COVID research and in all the fields that we cover. And you, our students, continued your studies in the most difficult of circumstances. I thank you for remaining undeterred and for remaining as committed and understanding as you did. But university life is about more than studying, as you well know, and I do hope that Cardiff University has given you more than just a degree. During your time here, you may have joined a students' union club or society, volunteered, or spent time abroad. You may have helped a housemate, championed a cause, or started a new hobby. Whatever it is you've done, I hope it's given you special memories and great friends and experiences that will stay with you forever. For some of you, today may be tinged with sadness as you say goodbye to Cardiff. It is a fantastic place, isn't it? What a city to go to university in. Hear it for Cardiff, our great city. So I'm sure you'll have wonderful memories of Cardiff. In fact, it's so amazing here that I'm sure some of you may already have decided to stay, whether that's for work or further study. Either way, today you officially join the Cardiff University alumni community of over 200,000 graduates, although really you already have been for some time. Now, Cardiff alumni are great global citizens. Some are activists and have high profiles. Others are quiet, solid contributors to their communities. Whatever your style, I encourage you to bring Cardiff's values wherever life takes you. Bring your passion for learning, your commitment to community, and your compassion and kindness to everything you do. The Welsh word hiraeth is made for moments like this. It conveys a sense of place, of love, of longing, of memories. We hope you will keep hiraeth in your hearts for Cardiff University. So please do stay in touch, come and visit us often, and act as an ambassador for Cardiff wherever your life takes you. Spread the word about this great city and this great university, and share your huge pride at being a Cardiff graduate. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. You're right. It's a beautiful word and a wonderful sentiment there from the Vice-Chancellor. Next, we come to the part of the ceremony where we confer the Honorary Awards. I'd like to introduce our orator for this evening, Cardiff University's Professor Laura McAllister, to tell us more about these extraordinary individuals.
Noswaith dda bawb, ein myfyrwyr, ein staff, a'n gwestiwn li. Good evening, everyone. We come to the part of the ceremony that celebrates distinguished people for outstanding contributions within their field and to society, to Cardiff, Wales, and the world. Many of them are Cardiff alumni. Today, they, like you, will be recognised and rewarded. Their success is part of your day's success. Dyma gyfle I ni nodi ein hedmygedd, ein balchder, a'n diolch wrth gyflwyno cymrodoriaethau a graddau anrhydedd. That recognition is given through the award of honorary fellowships and honorary degrees. Yehuda Bawa. Distinguished and courageous scholarship that reassesses the realities of the Holocaust, the history of Jewish resistance movements, and the many forms and cultures of anti-Semitism. This is the achievement of Cardiff University alumnus, the historian Yehuda Bawa. Professor Emeritus at the Abraham Harman Institute of Contemporary Jewry at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, where he's worked since the early 1960s. On March the 15th, 1939, the day Nazi Germany invaded Czechoslovakia, Professor Bauer's family boarded a train that slipped them over the border into Poland and on to Palestine. He came to Cardiff on a British scholarship, going on to complete a PhD in Israel and forge a career through such books as A History of the Holocaust, They Chose Life, Flight and Rescue, My Brother's Keeper, that, to use his own words, rethinks the categories that arise out of the contemplation of that watershed event in human history. It is a pleasure to award him an honorary degree. Dafydd Iwan. Canwr a chyfansoddwr o radd flaenaf, trwbador gwleidyddol, gweledydd, ymgyrchydd o'r argyhoeddiad ag iddo statws arwr gwerin. Dyna Dafydd Iwan a raddiodd o Ysgol Bensaernïaethau yn Prifysgol hon diwedd y 60au. Degawd a gynhaiodd fflam y mae Dafydd wedi ei cynnal gydag angerdd, deallusrwydd a chrebwyll byth ers hynny. Political troubadour, campaigner, businessman, folk hero, the contribution of alumnus Dafydd Iwan to Wales's pride in and legal protection for the Welsh language has been defining. A prolific singer, songwriter and recording artist, Dafydd was president of Plaid Cymru from 2003 to 2010. His advocacy for Wales and the Welsh language as leader of prominent campaigns from the 1960s onwards secured the rights we now take for granted. Wrth I Brifysgol Caerdydd weithredu ei strategaeth Gymraeg newydd, gwych yw medru nodi cyfraniad Dafydd Iwan fel cydwybod cenedl, gwdd sydd wedi eiriol am y dyfodol, nid trydyrchafu'r gorffennol. He is an architect by his Cardiff University training. He is also the political and creative architect of contemporary Wales. Eres ei gyfraniad I ddywylliant Cymraeg yn un bywiol a heriol. Dafydd Iwan. Jane Den Hollander, the recipient of the Order of Australia for Distinguished Services to Tertiary Education, the Ashley Goldsworthy Medal for Individual Leadership, the Victorian Honour Roll for Women, and the Australian Financial Review 2020 Higher Education Lifetime Achievement Award. Cardiff graduate Professor Jane Den Hollander was Vice-Chancellor of Deakin University, Melbourne, from 2010 to 2019, and the first member of her family to access a university education. Her postdoctoral research and academic career focused on cellular biology, biochemistry, and stem cell research. Post-retirement, Jane has accepted several influential board appointments related to the higher education sector, health, and innovation. She presided over Deakin's significant rise up the ranks and its success in student satisfaction. Committed to building teams and making higher education institutions values-driven communities. She once commented, "Once you have a culture, you can have a strategy." Jane Den Hollander. Michael Heseltine, a formidable political figure who continues to command respect and admiration across the ideological divide. Michael Heseltine, Baron Heseltine, has a charisma that transcends the political sphere he inhabited for over 50 years. He was an MP from 1966 to 2001, during which time he held ministerial and cabinet roles, including Secretary of State for the Environment, Secretary of State for Defence, Deputy Prime Minister to Margaret Thatcher, and First Secretary of State. Born in Swansea, Lord Heseltine has strong Welsh credentials, his ancestors originating from West Wales. He is one of our most successful businessmen, having begun his career as a property developer before founding Haymarket Publishing in the 1960s. A rare champion of devolution in the Conservative Party and a prominent supporter of the devolved Welsh Government, he has continued to speak and write with characteristic articulacy, acuity and candour on the issues of the day, including Brexit, which was the subject of the distinguished Hayden Ellis lecture he delivered at Cardiff University in 2018. Michael Heseltine. Michelle Terry, an Olivia Award-winning actor and writer, an artistic director since 2018 of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Michelle Terry has amassed a host of stage credits with the Royal Shakespeare Company, the Royal National Theatre and West End Productions, together with a raft of plaudits for her work as a television actor and writer. She studied English literature here at Cardiff University before training at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. A consummate interpreter of Shakespearean roles, she has been praised for the intelligence, inventiveness and vivacity of her acting. Super attuned to the nuances of literary and dramatic language, something we trust her Cardiff degree gave her, she has fulfilled the expectation of one journalist who, when she took on the role at the Globe, remarked that she would restore Shakespeare's language to the centre of the Globe experience. Cerys Matthews. Heb os, mae talent cerddorol Cerys Matthews a'i chefnogaeth gadarn i gynifer o achosion diwylliannol a chymdeithasol wedi sicrhau iddi statws icon. Musician, author, broadcaster, cultural and social campaigner and festival director, Cerys Matthews has brought Welsh culture in all its diversity to the attention of a UK and international audience, cementing her reputation as a major creative talent and Welsh cultural icon. She is the founding member of the multi-million selling band Catatonia. Her album of traditional Welsh songs, Tir, is the biggest selling Welsh language album of the past 10 years. The host of radio shows, curator for theatre and galleries, artistic director of musical events, and super engaging writer and presenter of television documentaries. Cerys is also Vice President of Shelter Wales and of the Hay Festival of Literature and Arts, and is a patron of the Dylan Thomas Society and Ballet Cymru. In 2014, she received the St David Award for her lasting cultural contribution. Cerys Matthews. Kenneth Matengu, an exceptional academic leader. Professor Kenneth Matengu is the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Namibia. Having struggled during his childhood against profound poverty, he gained access through determination and talent to an education that saw him complete a PhD in human geography and go on to develop an academic career in the social sciences, publishing widely on education, tourism, local government, innovation diffusion, and the social aspects of HIV and AIDS. Professor Matengu has been a driving force within the Phoenix Project, a partnership between Cardiff University and the University of Namibia that seeks to reduce poverty and to promote health and sustainable environmental development. His strength lies in his abilities as negotiator and team builder, and in the way he is able to articulate a convincing shared vision alongside the route map that will achieve it. Kenneth Matengu. Susan Hemming. Cardiff alumna Sue Hemming is the Director of Legal Services at the Crown Prosecution Service. From 2005 to 2018, she headed the CPS's Counter-Terrorism Division, responsible for prosecuting those who pose the greatest risk to public safety and national security. She now heads up legal services at the CPS. In that role, as a contemporary article put it, she's one of the 3 most powerful lawyers in the country whose job it is to decide who should be charged in the biggest criminal cases. It was Sue who in 2017 led the CPS's response to the Manchester Arena bombing and to the attacks at Westminster, Parsons Green and London Bridge. She was also responsible for the decision to bring charges in relation to the Hillsborough disaster in June 2017 and was praised for the fairness and objectivity she brought to the case. And it was Sue who in 2018 announced that there was sufficient evidence to charge 2 individuals in relation to the Sergei and Yulia Skripal case in Salisbury, Wiltshire. Her role requires absolute clarity of thought and nuanced knowledge and balanced interpretation of the law, all the more challenging in such high-profile, emotive cases. Sue Hemming. Bill Rammell. Cardiff alumnus and former president of the Students' Union, Bill Rammell was the first of his family to go to university. Subsequent work in youth services and with various students' unions made him acutely conscious of the capacity of education to transform lives, a conviction he has held ever since. Always politically committed, he became Labour MP for Harlow from 1997 to 2010 and was rapidly promoted, serving as Minister of State in a number of departments, the Foreign Office, the MOD, Education, under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. Then came a return to university in impactful senior roles. As Deputy Vice-Chancellor at Plymouth University, with responsibility for student experience, and Vice-Chancellor of the University of Bedfordshire from 2012 to 2019. In that year, Bill became the chair of Million Plus, the Association for Modern Universities in the UK that champions the transformative social role of modern universities. Bill's has been a successful and successfully varied career, with that commitment to education's opportunities running through it as a golden thread. Bill Rammell. I will now present these distinguished individuals who are to be awarded an honorary fellowship at Cardiff University. Anrydeddus is-Canghellor, cyflwyno fi chi y rhai sydd i'w derbyn yn gymrodyr a'i anrydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Troi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y cyngor, derbyniaf chi fel cymrodyr ar anrhydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations.
It is my privilege to now present our honorary degree recipient. Anrydeddus is-Canghellor, cyflwynaf I chi Yehuda Bawa fel doethyr anrydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Troi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y cyngor, derbyniaf chi fel doethyr anrhydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations.
What wonderful, inspiring fellows. Welcome all to the Cardiff University. Now, to deliver a speech on behalf of the new fellows is someone who's likely to be familiar to all of you, Hugh Edwards. Hugh is a Cardiff alumnus and an existing honorary fellow. He's the presenter of BBC's News at 10, and he's reported on major UK and international news stories during his career. We know him well. Welcome to the stage, Hugh Edwards.
Annwyl Gynghellor, Is Gynghellor, anrydeddus swyddogion y Brifysgol, ac annwyl ffrindiau. Dear Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, and can I just say friends, fellow graduates of Cardiff University, it's good to be with you today. Thank you very much. You're all so sickeningly young, and I feel sickeningly old today. It's 40 years, give or take a few months, since I graduated at this wonderful university. And I can say without doubt that it is an even better university today than it was then. It was good at that time, but you've come through it at an even better time. At that time, it seemed to be full of people from Pontypridd and places like that. Well, all that's changed, thankfully. It's a much more classy place than it was then. I can see that we have a contingent from Pontypridd in the audience. Well, restrain your sensitivity, okay? It's all a bit of banter, as we say in the trade, yes? It's good to be here. And to say very clearly that it's been my privilege to watch the university grow, seemingly exponentially, since I graduated all those years ago, and to take great pride in that, and to meet people in my line of work who've graduated here and who've shown all the hallmarks of a good, rigorous, sparkling education. Something for me to be very proud of as I've settled in with so many people over the years. It's my duty today, not just to congratulate all of you, but in fact to thank the university on behalf of those who've received honorary fellowships and an honorary degree this afternoon. Dyna'r ddyletswydd i gen I. Oherwydd mae'r Brifysgol wedi cydnabod yn agored bod na ystod eang o bobl fan hyn sydd wedi cyflawni pethau nodedig ac eithriadol yn ei gyrfau. Ac mae hynny'n rhywbeth i ymfalchio ynddo fe. It is the university's duty to recognise the achievements of so many people in notable areas, especially when those achievements are exceptional, whether they touch directly or indirectly on the university's work. So it would be wrong this afternoon not to just underline the fact that, if I may humbly, given the status of all of the people behind me, if I may just convey all of our thanks to Cardiff University for the honour and the privilege of being here today. And can we all just show our thanks to the university for that? Diolch yn fawr. Diolch. Colin, the President and Vice-Chancellor, mentioned earlier what a great city Cardiff is in which to be a student. I have to say, it's been tidied up a little since the early 80s. Caroline Street looks quite classy today. Trust me, it took a very brave person to wander down Caroline Street, even in daylight in the early 80s, leave alone after closing time. But these days, Mill Lane seems to be something like the south of France.
And it's all gone up in the world. And it's a pleasure to see. Cardiff is the perfect student city. Why do I say that? It's not too big for you all to get drowned in and lost in, and it's not too small so that the student body overwhelms the city itself. It's the perfect mix. And for that reason, I hope you'll all recognize in years to come what a wonderful experience it was and what a wonderful opportunity you all had in coming to the Welsh capital for your education. It stood me in very good stead, and I'm sure it'll stand you in very good stead as well. Mae dod i brifysgol mewn prif ddinas yn rhywbeth arbennig. Mae dinas fawr wrth gwrs yn le o antur. Ond mae prif ddinas yn rhywle arbennig iawn. Ac mae unrhyw fyfyriwr o Gymru yn sicr i ddod i gael ei addysgu yn y brif ddinas yn fater o falchder mawr. I'm hoping that all of you will do several things when you leave today, apart from celebrate as if your life depends on it, because part of the requirement of the day is that by tomorrow you can't remember today. Yes? Somebody made a terrible mistake and left me a bottle of water on the lectern. No idea why. What can I say about your path away from here? Just to be serious for a second. I wish you all success and happiness in life. Happiness more than success, because they're not the same thing. And I wish you good health, and after the last 2 or 3 years, that wish is underlined many times. You've come through a very challenging time, and for that reason, you should all individually be very proud of what you've achieved. Achieving a degree is a big thing anyway. Achieving what you've done, given what's happened over the last few years, I can tell you, is something that you should be proud of for the rest of your lives. So don't undersell yourselves on that level, okay? Very important. That's the first point. Don't be embarrassed to recognize what you've done and what you've achieved. It's a wonderful thing. The second thing I want you to think about is values. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit vague or preachy, because I urge you, all of you, individually, to go out into the world, into the workplace, with an eye on your personal values. At a time when there's a lot of debate in public life about people's values. When you deal with other people, strangers or people you know, deal with them with decency. Deal with them with honesty. Deal with them with fairness. These are the things that Cardiff, I hope, will have taught you. These are the things that you should take into wider life. Whether you work in the private sector or the public sector in years to come, be an example of those good values. Respect other people's opinions. By all means, challenge others if you think they're wrong, but do so in a way that is respectful and in a way that is rational and measured. Because public debate is debased if all we do is abuse each other. We have to treat people with respect. Now, treat people in the way that they want to be treated and that you want to be treated. And I want you to do that because not only will you improve the public space, not only will you improve public discourse, you will do so as representatives of Cardiff University. And that is a very powerful thing. Tomorrow belongs to you. You are the people who will be setting standards of leadership tomorrow. You are the people who will be putting your own standards to work and showing your own values in life. don't sell yourselves short. And don't underestimate the way that people will value your integrity and your truthfulness when you put that to work wherever you are. It's a great opportunity ahead of you. I wish you well. Wy'n llongyfarch bob un ohonoch chi ar y llwyddiant. You deserve all the luck in the world. And always remember, Cymru am byth. Diolch yn fawr.
Incredible, inspiring words there from Hugh. Thank you so much. Now it's the turn of Students' Union President for 2020 to 2021, Thomas Evans, to share thoughts and congratulations. Welcome, Thomas.
Hello, everyone. I still can't quite believe that this moment is finally here. There are close to 6,000 of us here in the class of 2021, and every one of us has made it to right here, to this moment, to this graduation. Isn't that amazing? Da iawn, class of 2021. On a day like today, I'm sure we've all been thinking a lot about our time at Cardiff. And I wanted to ask you, was your university experience the one that you had anticipated that first day? The day my parents dropped me off, I remember it very clearly. Just before they got in the car and drove away, my mum took my hand, she looked me in the eye, and she said, I don't want you to spend the rest of your life in Cardiff. I want you to spend it exploring the rest of the world and seeing what it's got to offer. I looked back at her, trying obviously not to roll my eyes, and said, yeah, Mum, obviously, I'll be here after 3 years, I'll graduate and I'll be gone. And that really was my intention. But flash forward 6 years, I'm still in Cardiff and I'm still loving it. And I bet everyone here also had a very different experience at Cardiff than the one we anticipated. We learnt in the classrooms and in the labs, in the Zooms and the team calls, and the places we all discovered, and the friendships that we built. All the surprises along the way that we faced and made it through. Because the thing is, class of 2021, all the things we took for granted at the start of our university journeys got shaken up pretty hard. But we showed that without a doubt, we can adapt, and when the whole world changes in an instant, resilience is our middle name. The day everything changed, I remember it very vividly. I was working in the Students' Union with an ear on the news, and I turned to my friend and said, this is mad, isn't it? But it's the uni, they're never going to close. I was so sure and so certain of the world around me. And no more than 5 minutes later, I got a Twitter notification from the libraries team, of all things, saying that the libraries were going to be closing. And that was it. I realized in that moment that the impossible not only could happen, but did happen. There were no meetings to discuss, no gradual change, just wham. The uni was in lockdown. Everything changed in that moment. Something impossible became a reality. And my next year as Student Union President wasn't all fancy council dinners, no running around campaigning, no hosting open days, just me, my sofa, sometimes my bed, and my laptop. And here's the thing, I think I'm naturally quite an upbeat person, I hope so anyway, but those times were really hard. All around us, our friends, our professors, our peers, everyone faced huge challenges. However, when the impossible became reality, everyone in Cardiff stood up and helped each other. We supported each other, and we managed to make it through. We learned that we could keep going, and the difficulties are a step along our personal journeys. So here we are, together, now, celebrating Cardiff and facing our future. What can we take with us? Class of 2021, we know better than any other generation that it's okay not to know quite where we're going next. It might even be great, because the world can surprise us in a moment. Our time at Cardiff is proof that we can make it through. As long as we face whatever's next with our true selves, with our friendships, and a deep breath. I know we can all make it. Dylech chi gyd bod yn falch iawn o'ch hunan. You should all be so proud of yourselves and of each other. Da iawn, class of 2021, llongyfarchiadau.
Thank you, Thomas. I'll now ask you to turn your attention to one of the big screens for a short film to welcome you to your alumni community. Almost every face that you'll see in this film is a Cardiff alum, including a few of whom are with us today. So it's basically made by alumni for alumni.
Take a look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? Class of 2021. Today we take stock of everything we've achieved and say thank you to those who always believed. So scroll through memories, cymryd selfies gyda'r besties, and stand up straight for the photographer. Say cheese. Today we remember how we got this far. The late nights and bright lights, and moments we didn't do as well as we might. Pob dyddiad cau, dyfal barhau, o weithio'n galed i'r dathliadau. Today we're rewarded for all the hard work that started way back with the first steps we took. Dropped at Talabont, yng Nghennydd, Aberdare or Aberconwy, I ganol y freshers, heb wybod lle I fynd, heb nabod bob un, nes canfod ffrindiau oes yn neidiau hoff cytun. First dates.
Soulmates.
I'm gonna start crying at this rate.
Today we're part of something that's hard to describe. The new class of an old tribe. A tradition that'll be there our whole lives. A network that continues to help us thrive. Years from now, we'll see someone with a badge on their tie or hear people on a bus shouting,
Cheese drive.
And we'll remember where we came from,
where we came into our own,
where we made our mark. Canfod cartref, where we found a home. Today we make noise like it's the varsity game and count ourselves lucky we found people with the same interests, hobbies, byd o'r hiwmor nes bod ni'n ffoli. People who tried to shelter us with broken brollies. People who helped us find our limits and push them out the way. People who helped us get to this point.
On this day.
Today is a day we mark everything we've shared. A day we tell people just how much we cared, that they were always there, even when they couldn't be. Roedden ni'n gwybod y deiau eto high-lyfryn for all the long hours we've had to put in. We still had those nights that went right through till dawn, and days we dug deeper than ever before.
So here's to those late-night revisers and early risers, to sunny days that passed by in Butte Park, to that special someone who gave us that special spark and helped us to grow, to transform, to dream. Today's for that someone we're proud to have at our team. What happens tomorrow is whatever you choose. Go make news or break news, but absolutely refuse to be told that can't be done, because we've only just begun to make records and break records and make history and break history and say,
this is the world I want to see.
10,
20,
30,
40.
Years from now, you'll look back on today and realise you've been by your side the whole way. But right now, right here, let's savour the moment and say, gyferchiadau, congratulations.
Let's get the celebrations underway.
Take a moment. Look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? We're Cardiff University. Croeso, welcome to your alumni community.
Wow, I keep waiting for when that's not going to give me goosebumps. Every time I watch it, it's moving, and you know, it makes me so proud to be here with you and to be able to welcome you to the alumni community. It's, yeah, just really enjoyed that, and welcome to all of you. I'd like now to introduce you to Anef Dyfri, a student from the University's School of Welsh, who will read a very special poem commissioned by the university, which you can also find at the back of the ceremony programme. Anef will also read the University Proclamation.
Education by Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio, gwellhad o wneud, myna geisio, parcha ddweud. Trawsnewidiad fydd y glod, dy ddyfodol mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and if you're lucky, it never ends. I will now read the University Proclamation, first in Welsh and then in English. Nerth gwlad I gwybodau. Bydded wybod I holl aelodau'r brifysgol ac ar draws y byd bod cynulliad Prifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym mhrif ddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod I dderbyn y myfyrwyr hynny sydd yn rhinwedd I hasidiaethau a'i hysgolheictod wedi archwilio'n briodol yn ôl statudau'r Brifysgol ac wedi cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Dathlo'n lwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn ac wrth wneud hynny fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb I rannu gwerthoedd y Brifysgol hon. Hwy sydd I geisio trwy cyflawniadau, gwasanaethu lles pawb, ymdrechu am ragoriaeth ym mhob peth, a gofalu am ddyfodol ein byd. Parchwch ddoethineb gan I fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of the studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation, and in doing so, remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek, through their achievements, to serve the common good, to strive for excellence on all things, and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Annette. Beautifully read. We're now at the pinnacle moment of this ceremony. It is the presentation of our graduates. So I'd like to introduce you to a fellow Cardiff University alumnus, the University Chair of Council, Pat Young, and welcome back to the stage Vice-Chancellor Professor Colin Reardon.
Noswaith da, good evening. I have the privilege of drawing this evening's ceremony to a close. Firstly, please join me in saying thank you to our brilliant compere, Miguela, who has been a fantastic host this evening. So, to the class of 2021. I know how incredible you're feeling right now because 35 years ago, I sat exactly where you are sitting today. It is a privilege to share in this day with you, and on behalf of everyone at Cardiff University, I want to thank all of you for coming and for making today's celebrations a wonderful and memorable occasion. Now, a final element of the graduation is giving you, our students, the opportunity to say thank you to all those who have supported you throughout your degrees. I know you'll agree that without this support you may not have arrived at this point today. And so it's right that we give these very important people the recognition they deserve. So firstly, could I ask you for a huge round of applause for the academics and staff here at Cardiff University who have supported and guided you through your degrees. Secondly, please join me in giving a huge round of applause to our inspirational honorary awardees who are also joining the very special Cardiff University family today. And finally, to the families, friends and supporters who have helped you throughout this incredible journey. Some of them may not be here this evening, but if they are not, I would like you to try and cheer this roof off so that they can hear you wherever they are in the world or beyond. To our families and supporters. Now then, class of 2021, class of 2020 and 2022 did much better. So on the count of 3, I want you to give it up for the friends, families and supporters who've helped you get here today. 1, 2, 3. Let's hear it. That was much more Cardiff. Thank you. I will now hand you over to the Vice-Chancellor, who will undertake the final and most important part of this ceremony, which is conferring you all to your degrees. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much.
My final duty this evening is officially to receive our students to your award. In keeping with tradition, I will recite a phrase in Welsh to receive all of you to your award, which in English is, I receive you to your award with all the privileges which this confers. And I will do this in groups, and the first group is the PhD and professional doctorate students. Could those doctoral graduates who are able to stand please rise to your feet? These awards are the highest level of academic qualification that one can receive, and they involve a significant commitment, determination, and dedication to a specific field of expertise. Earning a PhD or professional doctorate is a superb achievement. It requires many hours and days and months and years of hard work and sacrifice, so you should be commended for this very special achievement. Roedd awdurdod ar ôl mi gan y brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Diolch, thank you. Please be seated. Next, could all our postgraduates who are able to stand Please rise to your feet. To undertake further study and apply yourself to develop your skills is a significant commitment. All of you here today have excelled in your studies and should be incredibly proud of your hard work. Troi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations. Diolch, thank you. Please be seated. And finally, to our undergraduate students, please could all our undergraduates who are able to stand rise to your feet. To secure a degree from Cardiff University, takes dedication, commitment, and hard work. You have excelled in your chosen subject, and I commend you on your achievements. Troi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations! Undergraduates, please remain standing. The receiving of all your awards marks the end of this evening's ceremony. May I thank you all once again on behalf of everyone at Cardiff University for joining us today in these wonderful celebrations. But before we finish, can I ask everybody in the hall, if you're able to stand, please to stand together. Tonight we celebrate you all, and it's our chance now, finally, to raise the roof of this stadium and let everyone watching at home know how proud we are of Cardiff graduates. Class of 2021, here's to you, you did it. Llongyfarchiadau I bawb.